Hey folks, Greg Koch here. Wildwood here at NAMM 2020 with the legendary Mike Soldano. I've been a fan of your amps for years, my friend. Nice to finally meet you.
Well, thank you, yeah, thanks.
So tell me what we got. You're back and you're ready to attack. Am I right or am I right?
I'm back and ready to attack, and you are right.
Okay.
Yes, I'm really excited to see the brand move to a whole new level now, and we've got a couple of brand new products to show for that. Well, kind of new and kind of old at the same time.
When I was a wee lad, of course I wanted the SLO 100, but at that time it was beyond my pay grade. So I had a Rocket 30, was that the combo? Rocket.
Reverb-o-sonic.
Reverb-o-sonic, thank you.
Yes,
I had one of those. And then I remember for a brief time there was a kind of a Yamaha iteration of something that you had voiced.
Yep, the T50 and T100 combos and heads, yeah.
Yes, but I've always loved your amps. They've been a very tempting morsel, and so the fact that they are back and ready to unleash, I'm very excited. So what do we got?
Well, here's what we got. So let's start with the flagship, of course, the SLO 100. This is the amp that put me on the map back in the mid '80s,
right.
And it's been a staple of the music industry for well over three
Clapton
decades. Yeah.
And Dyer's, Mark Knopfler, and I saw Dave Edmunds, Warren Haynes.
Yeah, all the big hair bands of the '80s.
Right.
Everybody was playing these things. So this is the amp that's sort of my legacy, if nothing else. And for basically about 35 years, I was building it the same way. I mean, there's probably no product on the planet that's ever gone so long without ever being changed.
Okay,
Even Kleenex changed. It changes over time. However, there were a few things I wanted to do to upgrade it that I just never could find the time to stop production and do. But with me teaming up with Boutique, it kind of gave me a chance to stop and for us to all regroup and kind of kick some ideas around and see what we want to do. So this is still the legend,
the beast that it
was. It's still the SLO 100. But what we've done is we've made a few little improvements to evolve it into a new millennia, basically. So the first thing that's to me the most important is it's got DC power on the preamp heaters now. So what that does is, without getting all tech geeky, is it makes the amp quieter. So there's always a little bit of hum in 12AX7 preamp tubes, but over the years, for whatever reason, the tubes have gotten noisier, and so it's gotten harder to have a high gain amp with AC heaters because you're always hand picking the quietest tube out of a box of tubes to put in that first position, because any noise there is going to get amplified through the whole amp, and it's going to be a problem. So DC heaters eliminates that problem. The new SLO has DC heaters, and it's now dead quiet.
Awesome.
It's always been the quietest high gain amp in the industry, but now it's the quietest. Yeah, exactly. Then the other big news is the effects loop. I really have to chuckle because over all the years I built these things, there were lovers and haters of my effects loops, and I could never please everybody all the time. I think with our new loop, we're going to please everyone and then some. We've moved it postmaster volume, so now it's got a postmaster loop. We've adjusted the levels, so now it's compatible with floor pedals as well as rack gear. My older loop was kind of more rack oriented.
Okay, got it, yep.
Yeah, and then we've added a second button on the foot switch, so now you can bypass the loop. And there's also a switch on the back of the amp, so you can manually bypass as well. And there's a return level control. So now you've got a lot of versatility. Now it's more than just an effects loop. You can use it as a solo boost. Exactly.
Cool.
And you can kick it in, you can kick it out. You can go in the studio and just bypass it entirely, and it's way cooler. So that's probably the most significant difference. It's still transparent. You still don't hear it when nothing's plugged in. So nothing is compromising the original SLO tone. And then some other little add-ons was we put a switch on the front so you can actually switch between channels without the foot switch.
Got it.
Why I never thought of that when I designed the original, I don't know. But I just figured, well, these guys are going to be playing with a foot switch. Why bother? But in the studio, a foot switch can be a hassle. So now we've got a manual way to do it. Boom.
Cool.
Simple thing. And then the other new addition is the depth knob. Now,
Interesting.
I was offering this option for many years when I was still manufacturing these amps, but it was always an option. But it was such a popular thing that I was being asked for that we decided going into this new amp that let's just make it a standard feature. So now the depth knob is standard. For those who don't need it, you simply turn it to 0. It's out of the circuit.
Okay.
And so that's the new kind of evolution of the SLO 100. And of course, it still has the same classic styling, the metal grill, the snakeskin corners, but we've also got some new styling options. You can get different colored face plates. You can get a fabric insert instead of the metal grill. You can get it with or without the metal corners. You can get any color you want, just like you used to be able to when I was still building these amps. And so it's been really awesome to team up with Boutique and be able to have this now extended capability to build even cooler stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. And then what's new, all new, is this little guy over here. And I'm super stoked about this. This is the SLO 30. So this is all of the front end of that amp. The entire preamp is exactly the same. Same voicing, same feature set, everything, but now with a nice little 30-watt power section, a little smaller package, lighter weight, and it still has the Postmaster loop. And this thing, I'll put it up against even a 100-watt amp in a club, and I'll bet it would just rip it apart.
Kill it. Oh, cool.
But it's really a neat little amp. It's kind of like the right size for today's playing.
Right. Yeah,
you know. So, of course, we have to have the flagship, and it's a wonderful killer amp, but I think the little 30 is sort of the wave of the future.
Right, more for the everyman.
The everyman amp, exactly. It's priced really reasonably. It's built the same high quality that the SLO has always been built, and all Soldano products for that matter. So I'm real excited about this, and it has all the same styling options as well.
Awesome. So back in the day when Clapton or Warren or Mark Knopfler are using your amps, would they just get production line pieces, or they'd say, I want a little bit of this, or I want a little bit of that, or how did that work?
For the most part, most of those guys just got stock production units. I mean, maybe they didn't know that they could be modded, or maybe they just didn't care and they were happy with just the way the amps were. I had a few customers that I did a lot of custom work for. Lou Reed was one of them. I built a lot of very unique pieces for him because he had very unique wants and needs. Like I built him a 5-channel preamp one time, and some stereo power amps, and some rather, different and odd things. Warren Haynes has a little mod that we actually called the Warren Haynes mod that he wanted because of just the way he used the amp, the low gain. He wanted it to be a little different voicing on the overdrive channel.
Okay.
But for the most part, it was pretty much just standard.
You made it, people bought it, and that was it.
Yeah, it was pretty much a classic right out of the gate, and still is. So
I still think my favorite, that Clapton preamp on his guitar has this very particular sound, and I think it sounded best with your amp.
When it was coming through these amps, exactly. Yeah, I got to tell you, the first time I saw him on Saturday Night Live playing my stuff, I just about fell out of my chair. It's like, oh my God, my guitar hero is playing my stuff, and that was really a real exciting moment for me. I mean, I could have just died then and been a happy man,
Well, what was really cool is when finally that footage resurfaced, or whatever you want to call it, of Cream doing the reunion at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And that sounded killer, and he was using a Soldano stack. It really sounded good.
Yeah, that was really interesting too, because they just whizzed into town to do that. It was one of those kind of fly-in deals.
Right.
And I'm just sitting in my shop, and I get a phone call from Lee Dixon, who is Eric's tech, going like, hey, we're in town. Sorry for the short notice, but you have anything we can borrow? We're doing this thing tonight. And we had just finished doing the NAMM show that year, so I had all these chrome-covered amps that I'd done for my backline because they looked real flashy. I said, well, Lee, I got amps, but they're going to be a little flashy, but it's all I've gotten. He goes, I don't care what you bring me. So I threw the stuff in the back of my car, drove it over to this rehearsal hall, set it all up, and as a kid, I never got to see Cream, and Cream was like one of the first bands I ever just realized that's when I want to be a guitar player kind of moment, and I'd never gotten to see him. Well, luckily for me, Lee was like, okay, I'm going to hide you in a corner. You're not even supposed to be here after you drop the gear off, but you get to stick around and you get to watch them rehearse. And so I got to finally see Cream.
How awesome was that?
Albeit many, many years later, but I
Right.
got to see Cream, and it was awesome.
How was the interaction between those guys? Because they were supposed to be a little spicy.
Well, you know, that's what I had read in all the all the
Right, yeah.
papers and magazines. But you know, when I was there to witness it, when they all walked in the room, it was kind of like that tentative walk up and then sort of the handshake, and then immediately it was a hug, and
Right.
they started chatting, and so it seemed like, you know, they were genuinely happy to see each other. And when they started playing, it didn't sound like they didn't drop a beat. You know,
right.
it's like just like, hey guys, let's just play like we used to. You know, boom, there they
Boom.
are. You know,
Awesome.
It was pretty exciting for me. I also got to meet Tom Dowd, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
So,
cool. Awesome.
Yeah, it was a pretty special day.
Excellent.
So yeah.
Well, how awesome. Well, thanks so much for spending some time with us.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Thanks.
looking forward to firing these rascals up.
Yeah. You won't be disappointed.
Excellent. Folks, Gregory Koch here. NAMM 2020 with Michael Soldano with his new creations. Can you dig it? We'll see you later.